staff attending tonight?
Yeah, we have Perrin and Joe. They may get some questions on, Joe has an action item and Perrin has the service.
So how long do you think the meeting's going to last tonight?
I hope not long. I don't know what happened to my photo. I don't think it's going to be super long. There really isn't anything that's controversial.
The agenda kind of looked short, but I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Is Benny Smith going out and coming back in?
He probably doesn't realize that he's in a waiting room.
Send a message. Who did you say is from Keolis that was coming?
Barbara Murdoch.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, Carl, can you give me permission to record? Thank you.
Hey Becky, it's 6:45. You want to go ahead and start admitting people?
Yes, I will. We do have a couple in the waiting room.
Good morning or good evening.
Hello, Chair Franklin.
Christine, this is Gary Skinner. Can you hear me?
Yes, Supervisor Skinner, we can hear you.
Thank you very much.
How are you, Christine?
I'm well, Mayor Rishel. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good, we can hear one another.
Hello, guys.
How are you, Barbara?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good to see you, Barbara.
Good to be seen, Christine. You know, it's been rough.
Hello, everybody. It's good to see everybody.
Hey, Pam.
Oh, everybody's coming online. Guess I'll get in.
Yep.
Congratulations, Manassas, Mayor, Pam, You guys rocked over there.
Thank you.
Yes.
So lunch is on-
Congratulations. Chet.
yeah, lunch is on me, okay? Whenever we can figure this out.
I've been helping my mom who fell on Monday and broke her wrist and sprained the other one. So between the election and her, it's been a rough few days.
Oh,
Wow, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thanks.
Try a root canal. Oh my God.
Oh, boy.
I don't
Not
wish
fun.
I don't wish that on anybody, not my worst enemy. So, keep your teeth, go through the cleanings and do all that stuff because, I neglected for a year and that was it. I would never do that again. I know. No,
That is not fun.
at all.
Good evening, everyone.
hello, Supervisor Bailey.
Hi, Christine. Good to see you.
You too.
Tina, are we
Christine.
about ready?
Oh, there we go. Perfect timing. Are we prepared for quorum, Christine?
Yes, we are.
All right.
Okay. I will now call this meeting to order. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and related state of emergency, and as set forth in the Commission's Resolution 20-05-01 from the May 7th, 2020 meeting, we are meeting remotely this month. The public access is being provided by live streaming the meeting on PRTC's YouTube channel. This information was on PRTC's website, Facebook page, and at the Transit Center, as well as being advertised in Inside Nova and the Freelance Star. We will follow the same meeting process as before. Please state your name when speaking. I will introduce each item, then ask for a motion and a second. I will repeat the names of who made the motion and second. I will then ask each jurisdiction if there are any comments or questions from their representatives on the item. I will then ask Christine Rodrigo to take the roll by roll call. Commissioners who need to leave the meeting should verbally advise me prior to leaving so the time can be reflected in the meeting minutes. With that, we will now do the invocation. If everyone will please bow. Lord, thank you for bringing us together once again. We ask that you just put a watch over our nation and just allow us to be able to make positive decisions on behalf of our community to bring us all together. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. We will now do the Pledge of Allegiance. pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Christine, will you please call the roll?
Sorry. Victor Angry,
Here.
Andrea Bailey,
Present.
Kenny Bodie,
Present.
Margaret Franklin,
Present.
Janine Lawson, Yesley Vega, Ann Wheeler, Pete Canland, Maggie Hansford, Benny Smith,
Here.
Tanisha Allen,
Here.
Cindy Shelton, Meg Bumke, Gary Snellings, Pam Sebeski,
Present.
Ralph Smith, Jeanette Rischel,
Here.
Preston Banks, Hector Sundejas, Donald Shoemaker, Matthew Kelly,
Here.
Jason Graham, Deborah Frazier, Gary Skinner,
Here.
Tim McLaughlin, David Ross, Jennifer Mitchell,
Here, but I'm actually, Todd Horsley is going to be participating for DRPT tonight.
thank you. Jennifer DeBrule, Todd Horsley,
Here.
Steve Pittard, Lee Carter,
Here.
Elizabeth Guzman,
Present.
and George Parker. I see Senator Barker there, so I'm going to mark him as present. Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll now move into item 4, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So move Supervisor Bailey.
Moved by Supervisor Bailey. Is there a second?
Second, Supervisor Angry.
Seconded by Supervisor Angry. Are there any questions from Prince William County? Manassas, the city of Manassas?
No questions.
Manassas Park?
No questions.
Stafford County? Spotsylvania?
No questions.
DRPT?
No questions.
Members of the General Assembly? I think I covered it all.
No questions from Fredericksburg.
All righty, Christine, will you please call the roll?
Victor Angry,
Here. Aye.
Andrea Bailey,
Aye.
Kenny Bodie,
Aye.
Margaret Franklin.
Aye.
I understand that Yesley Vega has joined us.
Hello.
And do you vote, how do you vote on the agenda?
I'm sorry, because the discussion prior to me joining.
I'm sorry?
I said I'm going to abstain because I missed a discussion prior to me joining.
Thank you. Tanisha Allen,
Madam Chair.
Oh.
Christine, this is Janine, and I vote aye.
oh, thank you. Tanisha Allen? I don't have a response, so I will move on to Pam Sebeski,
Aye.
Jeanette Rischel,
Yes.
Matthew Kelly,
Aye.
Gary Skinner,
Aye.
Todd Horsley,
Yes.
Lee Carter,
Aye.
Elizabeth Guzman,
Aye.
and George Barker. Senator Barker, do you have a vote on the agenda?
Counties, you know, You have to put in numbers.
Sorry, I don't have a response from Senator Barker, although once again, I see him there.
Send me an email.
Madam
with
Chair,
your-
that resolution is approved.
Okay, we'll now move into item 5, approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So move Supervisor Bailey.
Moved by Supervisor Bailey. Is there a second?
Second, Supervisor Angry.
Seconded by Supervisor Angry. Are there any questions from Prince William County? Stafford County? City of Manassas?
No.
Manassas Park?
None.
Fredericksburg?
None.
Spotsylvania?
None.
General Assembly?
No.
And DRPT?
No questions.
Christine, please call the roll.
Victor Angry,
Aye.
Andrea Bailey,
Aye.
Kenny Bodie,
Aye.
Margaret Franklin,
Aye.
Janine Lawson,
Aye.
Yesley Vega,
Aye.
Tanisha Allen,
I think she's having internet issues.
thank you. Pam Sabeski,
Aye.
Jeanette Rischel,
Yes.
Matthew Kelly.
Yes.
I understand that Supervisor Frazier has joined us. Supervisor Frazier,
Here.
and do you have a vote on the minutes?
Yes.
Thank you. Gary Skinner,
Yes.
Todd Horsley,
Yes.
Lee Carter,
Aye.
Elizabeth Guzman,
Aye.
and George Barker. Madam Chair, that resolution is approved.
Okay, we'll now move into item 6, the Virginia Railway Express Chief Executive time. Mr. Dalton?
Good evening, Madam Chair, and good evening, members and others. You have the VRE update memo in your packet, so I'll just hit the highlights and some updates there. VRE continues to operate at a reduced service level. We continue to monitor ridership daily. And of course, if we need to lengthen some train concests or add trains, we're poised to do that in order to maintain social distancing. Just as a note, the public can view the capacity of each of our train from our train utilization webpage to give them some idea of which trains do have capacity. We continue to manage and enhance the health and safety measures that we implemented system-wide earlier this year. For the month of October, our riderships continued to increase, albeit at a very slow pace to slightly over 1,400 average daily riders. And our on-time performance for the month of October was 94% system-wide. VRE staff continues to work remotely. All of our business functions are fully operational as we continue to maintain a continuity of operations. While I'm here in my comments, I want to point you to in the information items, which is 6.3 of the agenda. There's an information item in there titled Virginia Passenger Rail Authority Agreements. And I just wanted to highlight this for you. This is a presentation that I gave to the operations board at our October 16th meeting. And within that, let me just highlight a couple of things. We have been working with DRPT, of course, Director Mitchell and her staff on 2 agreements. The Passenger Rail Operations and Access Agreement, which will essentially be an agreement like our existing operating access agreements that we have with CSX, Norfolk Southern, and Amtrak. And in the information item, of course, we go into some level of detail in the context of what that agreement will be, or what that agreement is. The second agreement is the Passenger Rail Improvements and Funding Agreement. And again, the presentation goes into some level of detail, but this essentially is an agreement that we are that we will be recommending to enter into with the Virginia Passenger Rail Authority to fund some of the planned improvements as it relates back to the Transforming Rail in Virginia program. All of this to say is that right now our plan, of course, is to bring a recommendation back to the operations board at our November 20th meeting. And so that means it's likely that that you as a commission will see this agreement at your December meeting. And I just want to, if any of you, after reviewing that, if you want to have set up any kind of a one-on-one session with myself, and of course I'll volunteer Director Mitchell, of course our Chief Financial Officer Mark Schofield, and VRE's legal counsel Steve McGuisick, any one of us or a combination of us, of course, we'll be glad to set up a one-on-one with you and give you additional or more in-depth information as it relates to that information item. So that's an open invitation. That is my report, Madam Chair.
Okay. And just to be clear, there's no authorization that PRTC needs to do for you tonight.
That is confirmed. There is no authorization. The item that was removed, we'll bring that back to you in December.
Okay. Any questions from Prince William County? Stafford County? I'm sorry?
None.
Stafford County? City of Manassas?
None.
Manassas Park?
None.
Fredericksburg?
None.
Spotsylvania?
None.
General Assembly? And DRPT?
None.
No.
Okay, we'll now move into public comment time. Are there any public comments?
Madam Chair, no public comments were submitted.
Okay, we'll go.
Madam Chair, it's Supervisor Angry.
Yes.
If I could just, I want to speak on behalf of Supervisor Allen. I just talked to her. She's having internet problems, like you said. So she is an aye vote for both the agenda and the minutes. And so if she has anything, she'll pass it to me and then I'll pass it to you, if that's okay, Madam Chair.
Christine, is that legal?
I think so, but I'm going to defer to Sharon.
Sharon?
Hi, sorry. The answer to that is yes, that's fine.
Okay. All right, we'll move now into item 8, the consent agenda. Moving to approve the consent agenda. Let's see here. Acceptance of the Potomac Rappahannock Transportation Commission's monthly jurisdictional financial report. This is what we do every month, and to authorize the executive director to execute a memorandum of agreement between PRTC and the city of Fredericksburg. And Bob, do you want to speak about the specifics of this?
This, excuse me, this just allows us to allow Fred to act as a subrecipient through the city of Fredericksburg for access to CARES funding. It's not a significant amount, but it allows them to get access to that and offset some of their budget expenses, including for PPE, et cetera.
I'm sorry, would anyone from Fredericksburg like to speak?
Madam Chair, it really is just getting us access to CARES funds for our bus system. It's just easier. PRTC is usually the holder of most of this anyway when it comes to transit funding. It makes it a little bit easier for us to apply for money that we would be able to get a hold of. It's just basically cutting out a little bit of red tape for us.
Okay, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll move the consent agenda as submitted. Matt Kelly.
Moved by Matt Kelly. Is there a second?
Second, Pam Sebesky.
Seconded by Vice Chair Sebesky. Are there any questions from Prince William County?
None.
Stafford County? City of Manassas?
None.
Manassas Park?
None.
Fredericksburg,
None.
Spotsylvania,
None.
General Assembly,
None.
and DRPT.
No questions.
Christine, will you please call the roll?
Victor Angry,
Aye.
Andrea Bailey,
Aye.
Kenny Bodie,
Aye.
Margaret Franklin,
Aye.
Janine Lawson,
Aye.
Yesli Vega,
Aye.
Tanisha Allen,
We skip you.
Aye. On behalf of Supervisor Allen.
Pamela Savesky,
Aye.
Jeanette Rischel,
Yes.
Matthew Kelly,
Aye.
Deborah Frazier,
Aye. Aye.
Gary Skinner,
Aye.
Todd Horsley,
Yes.
Lee Carter,
Aye.
Elizabeth Guzman,
Aye.
and George Barker.
Aye.
Madam Chair, that resolution is approved.
Okay, we'll now move into item 9, the executive director's time. Bob, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone for gathering this evening. The initial item is the Virginia Passenger Rail Authority update. I think Rich covered that. Between that and the VRE Operations Board, there's some information there. Again, defer to his expertise, and any commissioner that has questions about that, don't hesitate to reach out. His presentation was mainly on the agreements, but it also outlines the structure and information. We provided the list of the members of the update on behalf of the PRTC jurisdictions, so we have that moving forward. Western Facility update, we did receive our certificate of occupancy, and I am working in that this evening. We have moved about 5 or 6 staff members over on an interim basis, and we are working at old tables that are rickety. My printer stand is a cardboard box. My file cabinet is the other cardboard box. And the reason for that is we just simply don't have the furniture yet, but you will note that there is an action item that will allow us to purchase furniture. I will note that what we're doing as part of this process is we went through all of our staff recommendations for which employees can do work from home on an ongoing basis or who need splashdown. So we went through with each employee, through their manager, through the org chart, to identify how we could mitigate furniture as well as acquire furniture that you'll note is included in this is for cubicles, knowing that we need to have with COVID-19 protocols. And the reason we're bringing this item as we organized it at that point is we're not going to outfit every part of the building at once. We're going to do office space where we can work first, do conference space later, once we can do social gathering. But the facility, it does have its occupancy permit. Wash bay, we still have contractors coming and addressing final items. It's a beautiful facility. If you'd like to come through and just get a walkthrough before we start operating service, we anticipate service operations sometime in April. The primary reason for that is we just want to get a handle on some service change information, give Keolis about 6 months of operational experience, and it will take them about 90 days to get ready to operate from this facility anyway, maybe a little bit less. So it seems like that's a long way away, but that is just around the corner when you consider the new year, winter, etc. Speaking of that, we had a very, very good transition this week from First Transit to Keolis. I sent an email to the commissioners just to give them an update of some of the concern areas and items that employees had expressed previously. We are continuing to monitor all of those items and doing transition items that we identify as First Transit departs and as Keolis takes over. What I really would like to do is give the opportunity for Barbara Murdoch to just give you a brief update. She can just kind of explain where we've got. I believe she has some graphics that'll help explain some of the different activities. So I turn it over to Barbara for a brief update.
Thanks, Bob, and good evening, commissioners. Keolis is proud to officially say now that we're the operator of the OmniRide service. And this really has been a collaboration. The PRTC leadership has helped us make sure this transition went really smoothly. And we started on Monday with a 3 a.m. rollout where we had 105 buses. There were no late buses or missed buses. And overall, we hired 195 employees. And to celebrate the kickoff, I believe we had photos of our CEO, Aileen Franson. She came in from Boston to greet the employees and cheer out our team as the first buses rolled out the lot. We hosted a breakfast for champions. We gave out gift bags, had a safety contest with prizes, and the hit of all was our board of champions, a way of engaging the employees. We took instant photos of the employees with our CEO and many by themselves. And they're still asking us today, are you putting our picture up on the board of champions? So that really was a hit. And over in maintenance, we kicked off our KIM program. This is a management program. KIM, K-I-H-M, is an acronym that stands for Keola's Industrialized and Harmonized Maintenance. And it's a continuous improvement process that organizes activities and identifies waste. So while we're up and running, we're celebrating this week, we're taking a breath, we still are committed to making sure that we provide safe and quality bus service for the area. So thanks again to Bob and his staff, and thank you, commissioners, for allowing us this opportunity.
And I would like to say it was my hope to be able to attend the Breakfast of Champions as well as the dinner. So I hope some commissioners were able to go. And if not, hopefully we can all make our rounds to the facility to thank all of you all for the transition and to make sure that everyone is on the up and up and very energized to get to the next phase of kind of moving towards the new PRTC. So thank you, Ms. Murdoch, for the work that you've been doing and working so gracefully with PRTC and what I would describe actually as a difficult time for all of us. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Bob, I'll turn back to you before I ask questions of the commission.
Sure. One thing I did want to note is we adjusted our service change date. Originally, the plan was to do it on November 2nd, but we thought better of that. There would be enough confusion surrounding the transition element. So giving some extra time also gave Keolis a chance to get to the other side of the holidays. So it was just done for operational continuity and to ensure they had plenty of time to understand our service as we move into the next run cut for the workforce. We also want to mention that we do have a Hispanic Council meeting. We've got a slide for that to give you some information. We'll be sending out some formal information that you can share with your staff and your social media campaign. But this is a transportation education awareness campaign, working with Prince William County Chamber to get a lot of support and information through businesses inside Prince William County. The event will be held on Wednesday, December 9th. It will be virtual, of course, and we will have all that information to you on Friday so that you can share that with your constituents, any departments you have, or any community groups that you work directly with. Finally, there's an industry article about King County Metro resuming collecting fares without enforcement on October 1st. That's been written by our Chief Development Officer. What's unique about that is King County Metro isn't just the bus system. They also operate the van pool program, where we contract out, we have independent contractors that run our van pool system. They operate the van pool service directly, charge fees, fares, etc. So what that does is it really gives us a way to look at how a large West Coast transit system is moving forward in terms of fare collection and other items within the COVID environment. And it's really unique in that we can have a better understanding of how van pools operate. Right now, if we had said, hey, we're going to try to launch new van pools, we just don't have the ridership for it. But there's some interesting lessons to be learned. Keep in mind, this is Seattle. This is probably the most transit-friendly city in the United States. Doesn't have the highest ridership because that would, of course, be New York City. But in terms of how they invest in their city, how they pass referenda, et cetera, even in this COVID environment, just on Tuesday, they overwhelmingly passed a transit expansion program because they're well aware that transit will be back. We were on a conference call today just to discuss some of these things. And post 9/11, the conversation was post 9/11, there was a question, would anyone ever fly again? It was 18 months before things look like they did on September 10th. So we're planning to understand that perspective, and we're making decisions along that way, but we are watching and learning so we can import good ideas from the West Coast. Barring any other key questions, Madam Chair, that is my report.
Okay. Are there any questions for or from Prince William County with regards to the report or for Keolis?
Madam Chair.
I hear someone. I believe that's Supervisor Lawson.
Yes, thank you. Bob, related to the Hispanic outreach, how exactly is the chamber planning to execute that? Because I don't notice a large Latino business owner population at the chamber events that I've been to, but I want to make sure that they are reaching out to non-business owners. Do they commit to do that? They don't have to be just chamber business. They don't have to be just chamber
No.
members, do they?
No, and actually this is really our council. They have the Hispanic Business Council that exists, and there are access into the business community. Meanwhile, we're working also through neighborhood groups, et cetera. So that's why as we move into the different community organizations, we'll get additional feedback. This really is very much, especially as we've learned within the Hispanic community of Prince William, it's very much a tell a friend kind of concept.
Okay,
And
so
that's
the
how.
chambers, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So just for clarity, so the chamber is just a component of.
Correct. They're
Okay.
a partner with us in this.
Understood, thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair.
Yeah, and if I may add, I think this is also an opportunity for us to do some outreach as well, and try and get as many of our partners within that particular community to be interactive with this. And of course, if there's any commissioner that also wants to participate, I would just throw that out as well. Supervisor Bailey?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Bob, thank you so much for your report, and Ms. Murdoch. I just want to give you a heads up. I'm going to have a meeting next week with the commander of Quantico, and I've had some inquiries in terms of transportation level in the city of the town of Quantico as well as the base. And so I will be giving both of you a call to schedule a meeting to discuss the way ahead in terms of that, but just giving you a heads up for now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Bailey, and looking forward to that because I know you've reached out a couple of times to have that discussion. So looking forward to getting that on the books also.
Madam Chair.
Supervisor Angry?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Murdoch, so I want to thank you for what you just did in your opening of grand openings, because you engaged all the bus drivers and everyone on this line, and that it's been a challenge with the previous service the bus operators had, and now I just like to say this is a brand new, fresh start. So it's a new slate, and I believe you've nailed it, hitting the ground running with this. I say it's a delicate situation with them right now, right? So it's not all about making everybody happy, but it is about your word, and you really just honoring what we're going to do for them, where we're going with the bus system of Prince William County. So I thank you, because here's what I like, Ms. Murdoch. You got a smile on you that I'm sure when you walk in the room, even if they're having a bad day, you can get them back to having a good day. And I think a lot of this is going to be attitude driven, that we just got to get that out of them to get them understanding where we're headed now and how great things are. So I want to say thank you for, just 3 o'clock in the morning. That's very early now. I'm up, but the rest of the world isn't. And so, to do that and get everybody out there and engage and giving them back. And I'm going to come by and just see that board, and just, because I think this is very significant how you hit the ground running with PRT. So I want to thank you for that, and hope we can keep that momentum going with everybody on this board, that we all spend some time visiting over, just to engage with all our personnel and just making sure that we're continuing down the right road. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We couldn't do it without the employees.
Are there any other questions from Prince William County? Any questions from the city of Manassas? Manassas Park?
None.
Stafford County?
None.
Spotsylvania?
None.
Fredericksburg?
None.
General Assembly?
None.
And DRPT?
No.
Okay. Bob, are there any presentations for item 10?
No, ma'am, there are no presentations under item 10. So your next item would be 11.1.
Okay, we'll now move into item 11.1, approval and the adoption of the strategic plan and the transportation demand management plan. This is phase 3 of the strategic plan. It's a requirement of DRPT. And I don't know if Mr. Joe Stainsby is on the line. Mr. Stainsby, are you here?
Yes, Madam Chair, I am on the line tonight, yes.
Okay, would you like to speak briefly and then Dr. Schneider?
Yeah, certainly. So this has been, there's two distinct plans here. We have the TDMP, the Transportation Demand Management Plan, and the TSP as well, for our bus operations. This process has been going on for quite some time. We most recently came to you in July to begin the final phase, the public hearings for and listing the public comment period for the two plans. We did have both a virtual and an in-person public hearing, and we also had the required public comment period. We did not have any attendance or at either of the public hearings, the virtual or the in-person. We did receive one public comment submitted through the main inbox, and that was dealt with in terms of wanting to have access to the full report, not versus what was immediately posted, because that was a more condensed version, and then his other comments were added to the record as well, but they did not substantively change what was already in the two plans. So we are submitting them for your approval this evening. And that's all I have.
Dr. Schneider?
That is a very straightforward and pretty direct assessment. We're ready to move forward if the board is so willing.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Moved by Supervisor Bailey. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mayor Rischel.
Madam Chair, if I might just for a moment, we lost that Supervisor Allen was actually present even though she couldn't speak. Is she back online?
She was, and she's gone again. She says she has terrible internet over there where she is. So
okay, I think Supervisor Angry, if she's appearing on the screen, just this once we can allow you if she's telling you the vote. But I think if she's not appearing on the screen, we're gonna have to have a vote without her.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't want to,
because it creates issues if we.
Yes.
I appreciate what you're trying to do tonight, and maybe the PRTC staff can work with her as another way to get on in the meetings of the future. But I saw her drop off. Thank you, Madam Chair.
No worries. We'll go into questions, starting with Prince William County. I will just ask in terms of participation, are there other ways, even in addition to the public hearing, that we're at least getting the information out? I know that no one participated, but I just want to make sure that we're being as transparent as possible and that at least people know what we're doing, even if they don't comment or participate.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. It was advertised in the standard places in the El Tiempo Latino and also in the Freelance Star. It was also posted on Omni Rides and Vanpool Alliances, that being our Vanpool program's social media. I think for the first time, all of the materials, both the summaries and everything else where requested, were translated both into Spanish and also into Vietnamese, that being the third most spoken language in Prince William County after Spanish and English. So I think that it was as widely advertised as any of our stuff has been in the past, and was available in more languages than it has been in the past.
Okay, and then I'll just also offer to make sure that we're sending to other publications like Inside Nova. I think we have Potomac Local here, as well as Prince William Times. We have like What's Up Woodbridge. So just making sure that we're spreading the word as much as possible.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other questions from Prince William County? City of Manassas,
No questions.
Manassas Park,
None.
Spotsylvania,
None.
Stafford County, Fredericksburg,
None.
and the General Assembly,
None.
DRPT.
No questions, but we appreciate the staff's work on this. These are DRPT requirements, and we look forward to assisting OmniRide with implementing these plans.
Okay, Christine, will you please call the roll?
Victor Angry,
Can I don't know, you're calling roll, so I don't know if I'm messing up process here. It's in reference to Supervisor Allen. Can we add that non-member as a voting member tonight? Because she can't get back in, and so she just wants to know if you all want to do that.
I think we have a quorum. Is that right, Christine?
well, there is no other representative from Stafford County who's here tonight.
Okay. So she'll be out, and that's an aye for me.
Thank you. Andrea Bailey,
Aye.
Kenny Bodie,
Aye.
Margaret Franklin,
Aye.
Janine Lawson,
No.
Yesley Vega,
No.
Y'all on our way back?
Pam Sebeski,
Aye.
Yeah.
Annette Rischel,
Yes.
Matthew Kelly,
Yes.
Deborah Frazier,
Aye.
Gary Skinner,
Yes.
Todd Horsley,
Yes.
Lee Carter,
Aye.
Elizabeth Guzman,
Aye.
George Barker.
Yes.
Madam Chair, that resolution is approved.
Okay, we'll now move into item 11.2, authorizing the executive director to execute furniture purchasing agreement with Frank Parsons for the Western facility. Dr. Schneider, would you like to speak on this?
Yes, very straightforward. We need some furniture in order to occupy some spaces at the new Western facility. It'll be coming online over the next few months. This will be a staggered purchase in that we'll be purchasing an amount for offices that will be immediately occupied. Then later we'll have some conference spaces and some training areas once we have the COVID-19 protocols lifted in terms of social distancing, et cetera. But we're also spending the extra dollars in terms of this to have the larger cubicle space so that employee footprint, et cetera, can be maintained beyond that time period. We did, again, go through, we've identified we're closing down what is our Noble Pond location, which is over behind the new Sheets, very close to Smoketown Road at Golansky. That has approximately 20 employees there. We're closing that down and migrating the staff back into the facility in Woodbridge, or they're doing work from home. That annual expense of about $80,000 in terms of lease equipment will go, or lease space will go away, and that will offset these expenses. We could have done these in small purchase items, but by procurement rule, knowing it would exceed the $100,000 threshold, we wanted to bring the full procurement to the board at once, regardless of when we do the individual purchase items, so we can get that done completely.
Is there a motion?
I
So moved.
move Pam Sebeski, Manassas City.
Second, Kenny Bodie, Prince William.
Moved by Chair Sebeski, seconded by Supervisor Bodie. Are there any questions from Prince William County? And quick question I have is with regards to, obviously, we're dealing with COVID, and our money is, we're using it very conservatively. Does this impact any of our COVID funding or any particular financial situation that we're in?
No, it does not. This is furniture that was included in our budgeted services. So this includes that, and the actual purchase will be far less than what was budgeted, and we will be expending directly in relationship to when COVID is lifted. So for example, conference rooms will not be outfitted with furniture or equipment until they're ready. That's an example. We're being very, very sensitive to those dollars.
Are there any other questions from Prince William County?
Madam Chair, Supervisor Bailey.
Supervisor Bailey.
Dr. Sonny, can you just give us an overview, just a brief number of what you're talking about in terms of the budget, even though it was budgeted before? Just,
Yes.
just a raw number, just something quick.
The item has approximately $150,000 for all furniture, and that includes there's multiple conference rooms, training rooms, office space, hoteling, which is cubicle space for employees that are just working out of a space for a day, what's also called hot desking or splashdown. So that's the total amount. The initial expenditure is estimated to be around $55,000 to $65,000. And then as each conference room can range, depending on the size, from $10,000 to $30,000, depending on what's included. Is it a public area? What kind of furniture is being acquired, et cetera?
Thank you, Dr. Moon.
Are there any other questions from Prince William County? City of Manassas?
No questions.
Manassas Park?
None.
Stafford County? Spotsylvania?
None.
None.
Fredericksburg?
None.
General Assembly? And DRPT?
None.
Christine, will you please call the roll?
Victor Angry,
Aye.
Andrea Bailey,
Aye.
Kenny Bodie,
Aye.
Margaret Franklin,
Aye.
Janine Lawson. Aye. Yesli Vega. I didn't hear a reply from Yesli Vega.
Aye.
Thank you. Pam Sebeski,
Aye.
Jeanette Rischel,
Yes.
Matthew Kelly,
Yes.
Deborah Frazier. I didn't hear a reply. Thank you. Gary Skinner,
Aye.
Todd Horsley,
Yes.
Lee Carter,
Aye.
Elizabeth Guzman,
Aye.
and George Barker.
Aye.
Madam Chair, that resolution is approved.
Okay, we'll now move into item 11.3, approval of policy changes governing the commuter choice on the I-395-95 corridor. Is Ben Owen on the line?
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I'm on. Good to be with you again. So we have two actions concerning commuter choice on the I-395-95 corridor this evening. The first is approval of a set of 4 policy changes governing the program. These are shown on the screen, but they include a framework for supporting larger capital projects under commuter choice, establishing a minimum funding award amount, establishing requirements for transportation demand management projects, as well as establishing a support documentation requirement for projects involving third parties in their implementation. These changes we reviewed with eligible applicants at a webinar in July, I believe, and then subsequent to that, briefed the 3 PRTC commissioners and 3 NVTC commissioners on the I-395-95 Joint Commission Working Group in August and September. And we included a summary of the changes with the materials from the last commission meeting in October. So overall, these changes are aimed at improving our management of the program, ensuring that we're supporting projects that deliver strong benefits to toll payers. Our commission here at NVTC is taking up a very similar motion, perhaps right now even, that will apply to both the 395-95 and I-66 commuter choice corridors. Happy to take any questions on these changes.
Okay, is there a motion?
Moved by Rischel.
Second by Bailey.
Moved by Mayor Rischel, seconded by Supervisor Bailey. Discussion, Prince William County.
None.
Okay, I do have a quick question. Can you just go over the funding piece for this, Mr. Owens?
Sure. In terms of the minimum funding award amount, or?
That's right.
Yeah, so that's establishing a $200,000 minimum for any projects we support under the program. Right now, we don't have a minimum award amount, but we do put responsibilities on our funding recipients under the program, including quarterly reporting on project performance and expenditures, quarterly progress meetings with us, annual performance reports, and also submittal of detailed reimbursement requests. So the idea here is to establish kind of a minimum bar for our funding that's commensurate with those responsibilities.
And then it's my understanding, just from reading the report, the funds have to be spent within 2 years.
There is a 2-year obligation deadline on the program, meaning that once the CTB approves funding for a project, the recipient needs to execute a project agreement with us within 2 years. And then there's a 5-year expenditure deadline. So from that date that the CTB's action is effective, there's 5 years to expend the funds.
Gotcha. Any other questions from Prince William County? City of Manassas?
No question.
Manassas Park?
None.
Stafford County? Fredericksburg?
None.
Spotsylvania?
None.
General Assembly?
None.
And DRPT?
No.
Okay. Christine, will you please call the roll?
Victor Angry,
Aye.
I just put the salmon and I.
Andrea Bailey,
Aye.
Kenny Bodie,
Aye.
Margaret Franklin,
Aye.
Janine Lawson,
Aye.
Yesley Vega,
Aye.
Pam Sabeski,
Aye.
Jeanette Rischel,
Yes.
Matthew Kelly,
Aye.
Deborah Frazier,
Aye.
Gary Skinner,
Aye.
Todd Horsley,
Yes.
Lee Carter,
Aye.
Elizabeth Guzman,
Aye.
and George Barker.
Aye.
Madam Chair, that resolution is approved.
Okay. We'll now move into item 11.4, the adoption of technical evaluation process for the commuter choice on the I-395-95 corridor program, to authorize MVTC Executive Director to issue a call for projects for the 395-95 corridor. Ben, would you like to explain?
Sure. So this sort of 2-piece action relates to opening the round 2 fiscal year 22 to 23 call for projects for commuter choice on the 395-95 corridor. And as part of that, adopting the technical evaluation process. In terms of the call for projects, this is something that our commission here is taking up tonight as well. The application period would be open from November 9th until January 29th of 2021 to support a final selection and adoption of a program of projects in June of 2021. Some good news on the funding front is that we expect full funding for this 2-year program of roughly $30 million. We had as NVTC staff had a discussion with Transurban staff last month about the status of their upcoming payments. They very much value their long-term, roughly 68-year partnership with the Commonwealth and with our commissions around this program. And while their express lanes traffic has taken a hit
They have
due to
almost
COVID,
guaranteed that.
And if everyone can mute themselves, or if we can mute everybody. Mr. Owens, go ahead.
yeah, I somehow got muted in there, so I'm not sure where I cut off. But I was saying we do expect full funding for this 2-year program of about $30 million. We've had discussions with Transurban staff. They've indicated they very much value their long-term partnership with the Commonwealth and our commissions around this program. And while their traffic in the 95 and 395 express lanes has taken a bit of a hit due to COVID, it is rebounding, and they do expect to make their full upcoming payment that's due to the Commonwealth this month. So that's some very good news on the revenue side of things. In terms of the technical evaluation process, basically the process that we are asking you to adopt is the same as we used for our last I-66 call for projects. The action would basically make that the evaluation process effective for this and subsequent calls for projects until such time as the commissions wish to revisit it. And the idea here is to, we've kind of refined our process as we've gone along. The idea here is to kind of create some consistency for us and for our applicants so that everyone knows what to expect.
Okay, is there a motion?
So move, Supervisor Bailey.
Moved by Supervisor Bailey. Is there a second?
Second from Rischel.
Seconded by Mayor Rischel. Questions from Prince William County?
No questions?
Okay, Ben, just quick question, and this is a terrible question coming from the chair, but can you remind me who is on the Joint Commission Working Group?
Yes, so from PRTC, it is Supervisor Skinner from Spotsylvania County, Mayor Rischel from Manassas Park, and Delegate Guzman. And then from NVTC, we have Chairman Jeff McKay from Fairfax County. He's the chair of the Joint Commission Working Group, as well as Libby Garvey from Arlington County and Elizabeth Bennett Parker from the city of Alexandria.
Okay, and we just put together that working group and they haven't met yet, is that correct?
Yeah, so we briefed the members of the working group in August and September about this call for projects. The group will likely meet for the first time next spring in fall. That's when we would be bringing forth a draft program of projects for the group to consider and endorse for the full commission's consideration.
Great. Are there any other questions from Prince William County? City of Manassas?
No questions.
Manassas Park?
None.
Stafford County? Fredericksburg?
No questions.
Spotsylvania?
No questions.
General Assembly? And DRPT?
No questions.
Christine, will you please call the roll?
Victor Angry,
Aye.
Andrea Bailey,
Aye.
Kenny Bodie,
Aye.
Margaret Franklin,
Aye.
Janine Lawson,
Aye.
Yesley Vega,
Aye.
Sabeski,
Aye.
Jeanette Rischel,
Yes.
Matthew Kelly,
Yes.
Deborah Frazier,
Aye.
Gary Skinner,
Aye.
Todd Horsley,
Yes.
Lee Carter,
Aye.
Elizabeth Guzman,
Aye.
George Barker. Senator Barker, I didn't hear a response.
Aye.
Thank you. Madam Chair, that resolution is approved.
Okay, we'll now move into chair's time. A couple of things that we need to do. We need to put together a legislative committee. The legislative agenda will be on the December meeting, and then we need to put together a nominating committee to propose a slate for officers for 2021. And Sharon will give an overview of that before the legislative committee. Dr. Schneider, do we need to just put out a call now or actually select people?
Sorry,
Dr. Schneider?
there is no formal obligation for the legislative committee to form. It's just something that we have done in order to get feedback and guidance at the varying levels and help shape the information. This being a very unique year, there really isn't any key legislation in terms of the state. It's really more about trying to survive the fiscal crisis that could be looming without some type of aid package. But there are also a couple of items that we'll work through in terms of echoing some of the calls that you've seen if you're on the operations board with VRE about electronic meetings information, and we do coordination with other key elements that maybe NVTC is bringing forward. So this just provides some guidance. It can be an informal committee, it can be a formal committee, but that way I've got some feedback prior to this coming to the commission at the December meeting.
Yeah, and we usually have a legislative committee. So how about we do this? If people are interested, if you can please let Dr. Schneider know by the end of next week, and then we'll go from there. For the nominating committee, we do need to put together a nominating committee because I believe we need to make those selections for the slate next month. Yes, Ms. Pandak, if you want to just kind of go over that process.
Sure, Madam Chair. Actually, your slate will come to the board, to the commission for a vote in January. Next month, you need to elect your nominating committee. So you're electing to have others provide you with a slate for the new year. The nominating committee has to consist of one member from each member jurisdiction, according to the bylaws. If you are interested, Madam Chair, I think you should solicit those names and so staff can have those. So there's a list for the December meeting where you will make the election of the nominating committee. Of course, names can also be nominated or proposed for the nominating committee at the December meeting. To just give you a sort of reprise on how this occurs, the nominating committee will invite nominations prior to the January annual meeting and propose a slate of officers, and also the VRE operations board members and the alternate members for the commission's consideration. We need to have those names from the nominating committee in time for a mail out in the commission agenda in January. There also can be nominations that are made from the floor at the commission annual meeting. The slate of the VRE operation board members and the alternate members will mirror the appointments that are made by the member jurisdictions. So the nominating committee simply needs to be the nudge that says you've got to have your appointments ready so that those can be made at the January annual meeting. As I have talked to PRTC leadership staff about this, we are going to again have a problem in January because of the change in the membership of some of your governing bodies in having all of those names in time for what would be the normal first meeting of the commission the first week in January. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Bob and Christine, that the meeting will be scheduled for the second Thursday in January in order to facilitate the nominating committee having the names from the various governing bodies of the VRE members, the alternate members, and then also the members of the commission if they are different, in order to have that slate in January. So it's a two-tiered approach. The nominating committee will be elected by you, the commission, next month. And then that nominating committee will bring a slate to you in January with your commission agenda, with a January meeting the second Thursday in January.
Okay. Sharon, I believe that the current proposal is actually the third Thursday in January, because that would be, I think, the 15th.
Okay, thank you, Christine. I take my
Or the
leadership.
14th, sorry.
14th, so. All right, we are, I will tell you that as we've discussed this, it's an ongoing problem. We are trying to think if there's another way of doing this so it is not, it doesn't feel so much like everybody's scrambling on your various governing bodies at the last minute because of either the result of elections or something else. So hopefully we will have an idea for you in that regard after your January meeting, but right now that's the proposal.
Okay, so is it fair to have jurisdictions think about who they want on their nominating committee and reach out by the end of next week? Or is that something we can just present in December?
I think that your goal is good, Madam Chair, but certainly in December as well, nominations to the nominating committee can be taken from the floor. It just helps everybody, I think, if we have the proposed slate on the agenda.
Yeah, so how about, by the end of next week, if each jurisdiction wants to report to Dr. Schneider about who's going to be on the commission, remember, it has to be one person from each jurisdiction. So maybe that's the best way to do it. That way, by our next meeting, we'll all know who's on the nominating committee and we'll be ready to go on the administrative side on that.
Excellent.
Okay. All right. Any questions about that? Okay. I do not have anything else under chair's time. I also want to thank Keolis thank them again for the transition. It's been a tough couple of weeks in going through the transition, but I appreciate all the work, all of our employees for PRTC. We appreciate the work that you all are doing. And then of course, all of our bus operators on the ground. We appreciate the work that everybody is doing. And I think we'll see light at the end of the tunnel soon, but of course, we may have some rocky roads ahead. So I do appreciate everyone's work and patience. With that, we will go into item 13, Commissioner's time. And if Christine, you just want to call the roll, and if you have something you can share, if not, you can just say pass.
Victor Angry.
Just like to say to all veterans out there, happy Veterans Day. Upcoming.
Andrea Bailey.
I just want to echo Madam Chair's comments to Keolis and to Dr. Snyder for such a great transition and better days ahead. And happy Veterans Day, Victor Angry.
Kenny Bodie.
I will just say ditto to all three of my colleagues. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you to Keolis, and looking forward to working with them to make sure that we take our transportation system here to the next level. Thank you so much.
Janine Lawson.
Thank you. I actually have a question. Bob, what did you say our ridership number is now?
Ridership on the commuter service in particular hovers around 25% of what it was pre-COVID. Fixed route ridership, depending on the route, hovers between 55 and 65% on most routes. There's a few that are a little lower, but they're slowly coming back.
Well, the reason I ask is because the ones that I've observed lately, the local ones in Manassas, are all empty.
Yeah,
So,
very low ridership as a result of that.
and the Manassas local.
Yes.
So the 55% are more on the east end of the county.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so maybe I'll follow up with you on how we can change that, because I'm tired of seeing empty buses all over Manassas.
Understand. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yesli Vega. Supervisor Vega. Okay, I'm going to move on to alternate Commissioner Benny Smith.
Nothing.
Thank you. Pam Sabeski.
Not much. Happy Veterans Day, especially to those who serve on this commission with us, but to all veterans who have served. And I would like to also say that I'm looking forward to building a relationship with Keolis and appreciate all the efforts they've made to try to make this a smooth transition.
Jeanette Rischel.
Pass.
Matthew Kelly.
Pass.
Deborah Frazier.
No comments.
Gary Skinner.
Yeah, I have one comment for Keolis. If they do the job, if they do the same job as they're doing for VRE, you're going to be very pleased with Keolis. They've been a wonderful group to work with, and our passengers love them. So, and I also say Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. Thank you.
Jennifer Mitchell.
She's no
Okay.
longer on.
Todd Horsley.
And I have no comments.
Lee Carter.
Nothing to add.
Elizabeth Guzman.
Just Veterans Day and congratulations to those commissioners who won their elections, and for those who lost, thank you for your service. It's been a pleasure to serve with you on this commission. Thank you.
And George Barker.
Yeah, I'll just give you actually a brief legislative update as it relates to what we did in the regular session and a little bit in the special session that we're just wrapping up next week. And it hasn't worked out sort of to be able to make a presentation previously because of all the things related to the COVID situation and the ridership and all kinds of those issues. But we did pass a major transportation bill back in regular session that will provide substantial additional revenues and is directing a fair amount of that to be going to transit, to be able to address some of the needs, not only here in Northern Virginia, but in other parts of the state. And you see some of that with the Passenger Rail Authority thing, is the body that's been discussed, and that was part of that bill. In addition, what I was able to do was to get funding in the budget, since I do happen to be chair of the Transportation Subcommittee of the Senate Finance Committee, to provide a $5 million per year, minimum of $5 million per year pot for transit entities that are doing long haul types of transit. Right now, that certainly PRTC as well as Loudoun Transit would fit into that category clearly. But Loudoun's situation may change significantly once the extension of Metro into Loudoun, which is scheduled for next year, happens. So we should be able to be beneficiaries of that, and that'll help us with some of the shortfall that we got. But when the transit funding formula was used in ways that sort of disadvantaged the entities like PRTC that are providing substantial numbers of trips of long distance, because you can't just handle as many people all the way from Prince William or Stafford or Manassas into DC and those types of places, and get as many round trips as you can if you're doing a route that's basically a 2 or 3 or 4 mile round trip route there. So we will be benefiting from that substantially, and I think that's something that we need to plan for over the next several months, so that we're well positioned to be able to take advantage of that and use those funds, which I would expect that over time we may get the lion's share of that, along with VRE and potentially 1 or 2 other systems around the Commonwealth. But I think we will be in good shape on that, and I'm going to make sure that things continue to move forward in that direction. And looking forward to being back in Richmond in January, even after the last special session, that we will be wrapping up with our budget approval and action on some bills that the governor has proposed to amend next Monday. We actually are in much better financial shape than a lot of people, but basically than pretty much anybody thought we would be at this point. And there will be opportunities to address some of the issues that we had to pull back from this year. With the budget that we have that will be adopted, I'm confident on Monday, we are providing substantial additional funding for a number of categories. Unfortunately, transit, other than what we're getting out of the new bill, is a little short right now, because some of the revenues that are provided directly to the transportation funds are short right now. We did approve, however, a language in the budget to be able to make sure that monies could be moved around to make sure that all projects are moving forward as expeditiously as they can. So I think there's very positive news long-term as a result of that, even as some of the short-term funding is not quite as high as we had anticipated for some of the transportation services. But we did have a very good session back in January, February, and early March. It was unfortunate that we had to come back and put a freeze on a lot of that funding, but now we actually are in very good position. We're restoring a good bit of it in the budget adjustments that we will be making on Monday, and we'll be in a good position, I think, when we get back down to Richmond in January and February. So we'll keep working and try to keep the money flowing. So
thank you, Senator Barker. Madam Chair, that concludes the commissioner's time.
Thank you, and thank you, Senator Barker, for that update. With that, if there's nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Madam Chair.
Moved by Supervisor Bailey. Is there a second?
Second, Kenny Bodie.
Seconded by Supervisor Bodie. And Christine, do we need to call the roll?
Yeah.
No, we don't.
Okay. All right. Thank you all. See you next month.
Thanks, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you.